Our plan is to go from Boston. We're positioned ourselves in gate B28 in Boston, and you can see, and we're going down to New York. Okay, we'll be landing at LaGuardia Airport in New York, and we're at Logan International in Boston right now. Okay, so we'll get a pushback, start our engines, and then taxi on to runway 4 left in Boston, and expect to land at runway 4 in LaGuardia. Okay, so before we do that, let me give you a quick pre-flight brief. Do you explain everything here? Are you familiar with most things, or?
Yes, I am.
Okay, but I'll just do it anyway. So you know what this instrument panel?
This is the PFT.
Auto brake.
Yes.
Okay, it's on off right now. It'll even verify here. Auto brake off. Standby instruments.
Okay.
The FMC, which is right now is gone for upgrade, so we have to control. We have program the route from behind. Right. The MCP.
Yes.
So you're familiar with this, right?
Yes,
How to engage autopilot,
yes, yes,
push this. Okay. The altitude heading, auto throttle, all that stuff. Throttle quadrant,
Speed brakes.
forward throttle, reversers, spoilers or speed brakes, and flaps. Fuel inserters.
Yes.
Yeah. And fire test switches. Okay. Communication panel, navigation panel. You have your rudder trims here, aileron trims, etc. ADF frequency, transponder code.
Yeah,
Yep. Coming up here, the overhead panel, different systems of the aircraft essentially. So the fuel systems, fuel pumps and everything, electrics, the buses, hydraulics, the air conditioning system, the pressurization system, outside lights of the aircraft, engine start switches, outside lights of the aircraft. Right. So you're familiar with this?
Yes.
That's brilliant. Yes. Okay, so you know the basic objective, right? To keep this thing black dot in on your crossbars, yeah,
Yes, yes.
on the FDs. So let's get started then, and I'll request the pushback. And since the batteries are on, we'll already get the anti-collision to on, so put that on. Position,
Strobe lights.
yeah, and logo lights. Okay, so I'm going to request the pushback, which I'll have to do through here. And 5. And we'll get a pushback to the right here. Tell us when the tow truck is engaged.
Do we have motion in here?
No, it's not a full motion. It's a fixed base. The full motion is there typically only with the airlines. Only the airlines. Yeah, but the visuals are pretty good. It's actually better than the real simulator. The airlines have. So as we're pushing back, we'll start our engines. Okay. So please button. Push the wheel. Yeah. Okay. So right now we need to set a few things, configure a few things here for this thing, for pushback. So we'll put the electric hydraulics on. You can do that. Put the packs, which were on auto, we put them off, right? And put the isolation valve to open. And now we're set to start, right? So we make sure again anti-collision is on. And we'll start with engine number 2, so you know how that goes. I turn this to ground, okay? You would look at the N2 value here. At 20% N2, you can put your hand here and insert fuel in. And wait for the yellow light to go off, which is this thing, fuel valve open, and then we'll turn it off. Okay, so you can go ahead to ground. Yeah, so you hear it spool up, keep your hand ready. Looking at N2 valve. So that's fine. Yep. No, you don't do it that hard, it must be easy. And then we wait for the start valve to go off. And then you can turn it off once it goes on. Yeah. Okay. Same procedure for engine 1. Yeah. Hear it click, it's a little offset, so yeah, just done it once, right? Okay, so we got our engine started up. So what this means is we know we can transfer the power now to the generators, engine generators. So you click engine generator on, so push this down. Yeah, that's on. And 2 on. Yep. So now we've transferred the power to the generators. Okay, we don't need the APU anymore, so we can turn that off. I'll put the APU bleed on, you can turn the APU off then. And we wait for the blue light to go off. That means power is not available from APU anymore. Okay. Yeah, that's power. Okay. And then, now obviously the passengers are feeling hot. We put the packs again, right? So packs to auto, you can put this to auto, not back to auto. Yep, and this isolation valve to auto as well. Okay, so when we look up, you don't want to see any yellow lights. That's telling you something is wrong. Caution, right? So we see one yellow light there, the yaw damper. Can you put that off and on? And on. And wait for it to go. Okay, and then we put the probe heats on. So you can do that. Yep. Now we're good. We have 2 blues, 4 greens. We're properly configured, right? At this point, we'll put the fasten seatbelt signs on, which should have done there, and then put this to auto. Right? So fasten seatbelt signs are turned on. Essentially, we're going to be pushed back to the right here. And once we finish pushback, at this point, which will be very soon, once we get aligned here, we'll put the taxi light to on. So you can either do that now or do it after a few seconds. Yep, you can do it now. Okay, so the certain things that we do before we even start taxiing. One is that. The other one is set the auto brake start here. Yeah, perfect. And we'll put flaps to 5. To 5, not right now. Let them get clear of both the engines, otherwise the guy here, the marshal will get hit or something. Right? So we'll wait for that. And we set the MCP to what we want to go. So initially let's climb to 8,000 feet. So set that here. Set it, yeah, set it from here. Okay, good. Once we align, we'll put V2 plus 10, V2 over here. We have as 142, right? 147, so we set 157 there. Okay. And heading, we'll set it to heading select once we get onto the runway. But from here, we can even see the runway 4 left, so we'll align it right now. So you can change this to map mode then, which is 1 to the left, right? Yeah. Get rid of all these stations. Okay, so set this to 039 or align it to the runway center. Yeah.
039?
To whatever the center line is. So it's about 037, I think. Yeah. Okay, this guy is clear of us. We can put flaps to 5 now. I'll do it for you. Lift it, but yeah. And then check it. Okay, you can release park and brake. Okay. So you're familiar with the rudder pedals?
No.
Okay, so those 2 down there, your rudder pedals. For taxiing, we're going to be using them. So you'll push the heel left to turn left, and push the heel right to turn right. Okay, if you press on them, it'll be braking action. So our plan is we'll go taxi forward and take the second left onto this runway. This is our runway 4 left. Okay, so I'll use the power, and you can take your hands off and just use your feet. Okay, so put your feet are on the rudder, right? Okay. Right now we're just going straight. So I'll use initially about 45% to get it started.
Can you tell me again about the rudder?
Yeah, so if you push the heel to the left,
okay,
you'll see the aircraft moving to the left.
Okay.
Okay, so when we have to make a left turn there, you'll have to push your heel right, and we follow the center line, which is the yellow line. So good. And these are the values that we're interested in. The N1 values as a function of our throttle.
Currently I'm just flying the default aircrafts.
Okay.
Not familiar with the VMET.
right now it's a little off. So press the right rudder a little bit. Your right heel. Yeah, do you see it turning?
Yes.
So that's how. So you keep managing that. Okay. So I'm going to reduce speed here slowly. And no, the next left. So press the right rudder. Press the right rudder. Right heel. Right. And we always follow the center line to the so that you're not hitting anything. It's a huge wingspan here. And we'll make this left. So you keep following the yellow line only. So not right now. Yeah, and now start pressing slowly the left leg. Left leg. Yeah. Nice. So you see how that works? Keep pressing left. Keep pressing left. Left, 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 left. Yeah, align with this. And we'll go there and stop at the whole short line. So for braking, you'll press on both the toes. Okay. Okay, press on both the toes now. Yeah, perfect. That's the whole short line. We're not even supposed to cross it. Okay, you can take your feet off. Okay, now before takeoff, we'll set certain things. Then all the runway lights come to on. Yeah, it's two switches actually. So. And put the runway lights on. Taxi light to off.
Strobe lights.
And strobe light to position strobe and steady. Okay, so we're all set with the lights. It's set. It's looking good. We're set with this once.
Yeah. These are the landing lights, and
yes.
what about these?
These are the runway lights. Yeah. So these are the, the main landing lights will be this, and these are the only when we come onto the runway. Okay. So we have a trim set, everything's set. We're gonna release the brakes here, and so what we'll do is we'll go slightly to the right and make a full left turn to line 204. Okay. So. Follow the echo lines in. So right rudder. Press the right rudder. Okay, now start pressing the left rudder. Yeah, and fully jam it. Press it fully in. Yeah, press it. Yeah. Okay. Go forward a little bit and then press the left rudder to align yourself. Left rudder. Slow inputs, left and right, left and right. Okay, stop here. Yep. Stop, press brakes. Well, yeah. So stop it, right? Okay. So now what we'll do is we press the heading select mode. You can do that. So that'll give you exact runway heading. Okay. And make sure again that this is set. We'll arm the auto throttle. So we can put that on. And we'll push this all the way forward up to the green mark, which is 95.6. So you can do that, hands here. And you can let go of the rudder now. And push this all the way forward to the green mark. And you pull up, when I ask you to pull up, at rotate speed. And we'll rotate it about 14 degrees. Okay? So after that you'll be looking only inside. Check. Rotate. Yeah. Now look on the inside. Okay. Gear up. Gear up. Okay, so see the FD. Gears up. Flaps 1. So you just fly that, I'll configure the airplane. Flaps up.
Flaps are up.
I'm going to give you a left turn now to our route. You can just let go of it one second. And yeah, if it's not responding, just let go and then so I'm going to give you a left turn here onto our heading to Bath. Let's see if we can manage that. FD moving to the left?
Yes.
Yeah, so start moving to the left.
Are we just getting to
Yeah, you have to push down. You're controlling that, it's not autopilot. keep it on the crossbars. Yeah. Try to push down. And I'm going to speed up now to 250.
What would we have cruise altitude?
20,000 feet. So initially we've got a clearance to climb to 8. Yeah, so push down. So you want to keep the black dot on the crossbars, right? That'll give you the perfect, yeah. Nice. So I'll engage LNAV mode now. So that's going to take you to Bath. And up to 10,000 feet, we need to climb. Yeah, all the lights go off, this fasten seatbelt sign goes off, and we have to maintain. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to roll out of our turn, so you can start rolling out. Turn to the right, pull up, yeah. Turn to the right. Coming out of our turn, right? So now we're overshot the turn, so we're turning back to the right. Small variation, so be gentle, otherwise passengers will start throwing up. Okay, so turn to the right. Just try to keep it dead on that. From ATC now to go to 20,000. I'll set 20,000. You can set 20,000. I have controls. And press VNAV. Okay, there you go. Now it's going to try to take you to 20,000 for our top-off climb. Okay, so your controls, you can fly. So, do you want to see how the autopilot works? Do you want to engage autopilot, or do you want to fly it manually?
I'll fly manually.
Okay. It's on auto throttle. So right now what it's doing is, since we press VNAV, it's going to try to take you really quick then, right? Because our top-off climb is really early. 10,000 feet, you can turn the lights off. And those two off as well. And turn the fasten seatbelt off. Yeah, that's it. So since this is really fast, we'll disengage VNAV. Okay, and then we'll do vertical speed. Okay, so it'll be about 2.5. Be more, see? It's going down. Yeah, make small changes. Be gentle. And I'm going to speed up because they're above.
Yeah.
So instead of speed here, do 90 knots. So start. So slightly to the left. Make sure that it's up and then press command A. Yeah, so disengage it. Engage it, press command A. Yeah. Okay, now let go. There you go, now it's on autopilot. So there are two ways to climb, right? So you can play around with vertical speed. So the green arc tells you that you're going to reach 20,000 at that point. Okay, so typically you want to be flying on this mode. Press that, you see. So right now it's on an 80 nautical mile radius. I can change that. So 40 nautical miles.
How do I know that it's on 40 nautical miles?
Okay, so you see the numbers here, right?
Yes, I
5,
see
10,
numbers,
15.
but the markers are not visible.
Yeah, there's no marker as such. So if I switch this, so I see 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now it's on 40. We use 40 to our next waypoint, which is Bath. Okay, so once we come to 20,000 press the VNAV button. So let's use a cruise speed of 320 knots. Okay, so you can change it about now.
The maximum operating speed of this 737 is 340
altitude.
right?
Yes. 340 knots, yeah. So transition altitude. So typically at this point we put QNH,
299.
yeah, 2992 or 1013 hectopascals, one of the two. Okay, so once you come onto a cruise, let's take a look at the approach chart into the Boreal. I'll let you turn the light up let's just establish cruise first. Check that it's stabilized. So altitude is acquired. You see the motor. So that's how we know it's on LNAV and MCP speed. So we're using it speed from MCP, right? So there are two. So this MCP is actually pretty advanced in the sense even some airlines don't have some functions here. So if you press the VNAV button, so you go ahead and press it. Okay, so now it's going to come back to the preset speed on the MCP. You see that? 289? Right, but if I want to go faster, okay, there are two ways to do it. I either do it from the FMS, or this is so brilliant, if I press speed intervention. So go ahead and press speed intervention. Press it again. Yeah, so you see, it's still on VNAV mode, but you can adjust the speed from here itself. So you set it to 320. Okay, so if you look on the screen, if you change the mode here, okay, you see TD there, afterburn. So that's your top of descent. So that'll tell you, it'll start descending from there. When we're on VNAV mode, if we change our altitude, right?
Yeah.
Set you back.
There's a message in the FMC return reset MCP also.
Yeah. So we have traffic now, 19,000 feet below us, 12,000 feet below us. You can see there. No, not that one. The other one. Here. Just typically fly on this one. Okay, so a few things that we do. So right now, do you know how far we are from BAF?
From one XP point,
Yeah.
41.
Yeah, 40.8 and reducing, right? So we let it go right now. We're on cruise mode. Everything looks fine. We'll monitor engine parameters. Look okay. The auto throttle is off. Nothing is unusual, which is good for us. Right? So right now on your active frequency, it's on 113.00. Right? It's the navigation rate. That's tuned into BAF. Okay. So once we go past BAF, you can expect about a 30-degree left change. Okay, 25 degrees or so, and we'll monitor that. And we'll expect the frequency also to change to the next frequency, which is the ILS, which is already loaded. Okay, so we're going to do, this is the approach. Just turn the light up, the background light bright. Yeah. Up. No, the other way. Yeah. So that you can read. So this is the chart, if you look at it. Have you seen one of these before?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the approach into LaGuardia, ILS 4. Okay, so first things first, we'll make a note of the frequency. So the localizer frequency is 110.5. And I'll make sure, yeah, you can have it on standby. So you can do that now. 50. Okay, perfect. I have it on active just in case. Okay. The approach course over there is 044. You can see here. So that is set over here. So you can set your course to 044. And I'll set my course here to 044. We'll check that. Okay, so if you look at the screen, look at my screen here. Dennis is this point. So if you look at the vertical profile, at Dennis intersection you want to be at 1700 feet. Okay, so right now what is going to happen is we're going to land, we're going to go towards this way, which is roughly 225, but we're landing the opposite runway. So at Greco, we'll start disengaging the LN. We'll vector ourselves as if it's a real approach. So we'll make a right turn and then go parallel to the runway and then come back and intersect Dennis. And we plan to be at Dennis at 1700 feet. Okay, So that's our final approach, right? So where we can expect to see that glide slope indication. After getting the glide slope, we follow that down, and the minimums for this ILS for category 1 is 305. Okay, so you can go ahead and set that now itself. So you see mins here.
Yeah.
You turn that knob, see if it works. Yeah, so you see radio there.
Yeah.
You can set that to 305. They just turn the knob here. It'll change the value. Yeah. So 310 you can set it to. Perfect. So we have our minimum set there. Yeah. So what that'll do is it'll give the minimums annunciation.
It's automatically changing to 320.
Okay, leave it. It's fine. I don't know why it's doing that. It's so weird. Okay, we'll keep it at 300. Okay. So that the radio altimeter is set now to 300 feet. Okay, so we'll come down to 300. I'll let you do the profile manually if you want to. So you'll follow the FDs down. Okay, you can expect it to get pretty sensitive while getting closer, the localizer. As we get closer, it'll be more sensitive. So make very small inputs into this and make sure it's bang on the center like it's right. Okay. Another thing that we can do is we need to pick up the weather. So we'll set the ATIS frequency. The ATIS arrival is 125.95. Go ahead and set that over here. 125.
It's not
Not at all. That's really weird. Oh, sorry. Set that here.
125 decimal.
95. Okay. So that's set and checked. We'll set this back to 110.5. Usually ATIS you can hear it when you're 40, 50 miles from the destination. You're not going to pick it up here. So we'll pick up the ATIS and we'll see what runways in use. We expect to land at 04 in LaGuardia. Okay, so you figured this plan, right? So what we're going to do is, if you look at my screen, go here, go up to Greco, turn right, parallel this, and come back in antennas. Okay, so that's the plan of action. Minimums are set, the frequency is set, course is set, ATIS frequency is set. So we're set with that. There's certain cruise checks that we do, prepare ourselves at, for landing. Most of it we've already done, the frequency, the course, and everything. The only thing, the auto brake, we'll set it to 2. Yeah, so you can go ahead and do that and verify it on the ECAS screen. Yeah. Brake to 2. The runway that we're going to be using is 7,000 feet. So you get runway information. And the P there stands for PAPI. You know what the PAPI is?
Yes, they are the lights, 2 reds and...
Top of descent in 50 miles.
So top of descent in 50 miles. Pay attention to that. So as we're approaching BAF, usually you don't want to do anything. We'll see the waypoint changing and observe that it actually changes. Yeah, perfect. See, it's on autopilot, it's turning automatically. So while this happens, right, it's flying right now on autopilot and LNAV mode. But just for reference, in case we lose that, we turn our heading to match the new course. So you can turn it. Right now the heading is 276. So make it match the turn left. You see that magenta dash line? Make it match the new course. That now we know which heading to fly to get to LaGuardia in case we lose our navix. Yeah. Okay, so let that align and we'll make sure that it's aligned. So our top of descent right now is at about 40 miles, right? So you're on 80 nautical mile radius. You see the 80?
Yes.
So the one below that is 40 and the TD coincides with that. So top of descent is, so in 40 miles we can start descending. At Greco, we want to be at 4,000. So you can set the altitude to 4,000 once we come closer. Right now that's not even, right? And we'll descend this time using vertical speed. So you can play around with that. You'll see the green arc. Make sure that the green arc is slightly before Greco. So we'll adjust our vertical speed, rate of descent based on that. Also, another speed constraint we need to keep in mind. At 10,000 feet, we can be no faster than 250 knots. So as we're descending at about 15,000 feet, we'll reduce our speed to 250 knots as well. Okay?
What about this?
That's traffic. That's 4,300 feet below us and descending. So the down arrow there means that it's descending. That's why the number is also changing. 4,6. Okay, so we're all set. We're on LNAV, VNAV path, and FMC speed. Looking good. The ocean that you see on the left, that's the Atlantic Ocean.
And what about the runway elevation?
Is almost sea level. Airport elevation, touchdown zone elevation is 21 feet.
We have set it right there, right?
Yes, we're supposed to do this to 20,000. And landing altitude is a group of 500, so good stuff. So if you want at this stage, I could let you fly anyway. Do you want to?
No problem.
Yeah. So disengage it. Yeah, push that down. Push that down. Yeah. Are you from Bangalore or?
No, I'm from Chandigarh.
From Chandigarh. So you're here just on vacation or something?
Yeah, family vacation.
Yeah. First time to Bangalore? Or?
7th time.
Yeah. So what do? You study here?
I will be going to 12th standard
Oh, okay.
this Monday.
Oh, yeah? So you like flying a lot? Nice.
I fly on IBAU, the online network.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was started by Viber.
Yeah. It was with the Vans network, but then they later came to different networks.
Yeah. You know that Viber only started this. How did you hear of this place? Net. TripAdvisor or something.
Not right. I was searching for simulators in India.
Okay.
So,
Okay, nice. You're trying to be a pilot when you grow up?
yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're fast approaching our TV, just to get a better reference. I'm going to zoom in here. Less than 20 nautical miles. Yeah, it's about 20, less than 20. It's about 17, 18 nautical miles. It's very simple. Yeah, very nice. You're very steady with the controls. Nice. So you got to be just like this once we get closer to landing, because then it becomes very important, right? This aircraft at the speed, it's about 5 degrees of pitch or 4 degrees of pitch that'll give you level flight. Slightly to the right. once we're in VNAV mode, it's going to take us down automatically, but we don't want that. We'll set it to VS and we'll start going down once we reach our turbo percent, which is any time now.
And what are these numbers?
So that shows you your VNAV
Top
profile.
of descent.
So there you go. So let's hit the VS speed. And why don't you play around with it? I'll take controls. Just adjust it to about 2,000 or so. More than that. And we'll wait for the green arc, right? We haven't seen it, so increase it further.
What?
Yeah. More. And reduce the speed now to, not here, yeah. Only there. Set it to about 275. First set it about 275 and then we'll reduce it just a Okay, we're getting weather information LaGuardia.
Yes.
Reduce it. Yeah. That's fine. Perfect. Okay, so your controls, you're flying it. Kilo. Wind is gone. Visibility greater than 20.
Transition altitude.
2992. ILS runway 4 in use. Reduce the rate of descent. Hold back. Push down. Okay, so we've got that. Switch it back. Nice. Okay, so at about 14,000 or so, I'm going to reduce the speed to 250. Perfect. So the time we get to 10 will actually be at reduce the rate of descent. Slightly to the right. Should be less than 20 miles. And from Greco, we'll make a right turn to 270. Okay. And then we'll actually fly, and you can see Manhattan. So you see all the famous structures there. World Trade Center used to be. So we're gonna go out this way, and then we're gonna parallel our runway course. Okay, so it's about heading up 225. Parallel that course. Let's go further. And at Dennis, we need to be at what altitude?
1,700.
Yep. So we'll plan our descent on the downwind there. After this, I'll give you a descending turn. Okay, so you have to turn left. I'll tell you when I turn left heading 225, and then descend down to 2,500. Okay, so 2,500, and start your turn now. Follow the FDs down. Statue of Liberty. And you see the airport in front of us? That's Newark Airport. We're almost up in Dennis, if you look at your ND. So we'll go past, and then we'll intersect Dennis, and then we'll set the approach mark. Okay. Once we're abeam, I'll give you a descent to 1,700. Haven't reached 2,500.
I did get a few months back.
Oh yeah? In real life?
No.
Then? Oh, in this?
I was thinking what
2,500.
It's the JPW's one.
do we have the heads-up display?
What's that?
Heads-up display.
On the other display?
Heads-up display.
What? No. Sorry. Okay. Then I just get you down to 17 here. Give you
2,500.
at about 700 feet per minute. Okay. And I'm gonna give you your intersect heading. So I look at the screen and intersect Dennis. And so it's about turn left heading 100. Actually more than that, 095. And maintain 1,700, which we're already there. So I'm gonna watch the altitude now. Doing okay. And I'm gonna reduce the speed to flaps up speed. Start rolling out.
Don't sink.
Make that 090. Watch the altitude. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Start rolling out. Start rolling out.
think.
Turn to the right. Actually, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we're
Don't
8
think.
miles from Dennis. I'm gonna get to flaps 1
Don't think.
and watch the altitude. Let's get to it there. I'm gonna get you to speed 1. At 5 nautical miles, flaps to 5 and speed to 5, and we'll press the approach button. Okay. You can actually press the approach on the approach button now.
Don't think.
So you can do that. Yeah. Turn to the right. Do you want to do the entire thing manually?
Yeah.
Pull it up. I'm gonna get sensitive again. So that's the Statue of Liberty right here. That's the entire island. Once you get closer, you'll see the buildings. Really nice. Okay, 5 nautical miles to Dennis. Flaps 5 and bug 5. Approach mode is on. Verified. When we're 2 nautical
Don't
miles from
think.
Dennis, we'll put the landing gear down and flaps to 15. Pull up a little bit. Pull up. Yeah. So right now, even 100 feet is crucial, right? See how close we are to these buildings. Okay, 3.5 to Dennis. And we'll call out single channel when it's on the ILS. Okay, so you see the FD now, it'll change to single channel in yellow. Okay, 2.5 nautical miles to Dennis. And get the gear down. Verify 3 green.
Don't think. Don't think.
Okay, 3
Gear
green.
is down.
Flaps to 15. Speed to 15. Okay,
Gear up.
pull back a little bit. Yep, it's on VOR listing. You see that? It's on. Start turning to the left. Yeah, start turning to the left.
Don't think.
Follow the FDs in. Keep turning left.
Don't think.
Okay. Descent for just continuous. Speed brake arm. Out. See the glide slope coming out?
Gear up.
Okay, we'll turn this to
Don't think. Think rate. Pull up.
pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. You're getting low. Okay, flaps to 30. Speed VREF is 5. Set here. Do you have runway in sight?
1,000.
Heading box set.
Think rate.
And altitude to missed
Think
approach.
Think rate.
Flight 4.
Watch it, pull up, pull up. You have to look inside. Otherwise, we're getting too low, right?
600.
Yeah. So every 100 feet you call out. Now 500. So let's just maintain this. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Yeah.
500.
Don't let it go down. Yeah. So you're below the glide slope, right? You see the diamond on the right?
400.
So to the left, slightly.
Approaching minimums.
Okay, so minimum's 300 feet or something.
300.
Minimums. Alright. Gonna disengage the auto throttle.
200.
Okay, look outside. Go visual. And when I ask you
100.
flare, pull it up slightly.
50.
Pull it up. Keep
40.
this attitude. Stay here.
30.
Pull it
20.
up. Pull it up.
10.
Pull it up. Yeah. Reverse this. Reverse this. Yeah. When I call out 60, put the reverse back there. 60. No, legs to keep it. It's not looking. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Auto brake off. Get the flaps up. And turn the engine start switches to off. Yes, this one's good. Okay. Throttle up, and you take this exit. And we'll park in one of the gates. Check. And you use your rudder pedals. You can take your hand off. Otherwise, it's confusing. You go like this to turn right. So take this right. Yeah. Just try to follow the yellow line in. Press the right one fully. Fully. Yeah. It's okay. Left. You have to try to align this center line with this. Okay. So right now keep it on neutral. Yeah. Just little inputs. Right rudder. Right. And we'll take that last one there.
Left or right?
This one here. Second last one. Left. You're pressing on it. Yeah.
Maybe it's the taxi.
So we'll follow this yellow one in. Right rudder. Yeah, just keep it straight. Slightly to the right. Yeah. Slide and put to the right, to the right, to the right. Right rudder. Right rudder. Yeah. Press the brakes. Not that much. Just up to that point. Release the brakes. Middle side. Press the brakes now. Okay. Slightly more. There you go. Press the brakes. Okay. Start the brakes. And turn the lights on. Okay. The APU on. Banks off. And then cut the engines. You gotta pull it out one by one. Yeah. Okay, electric hydraulics off. Awesome. Well done, man. You got us safely in New York. Hope you had a good time.